Joanna to come and share with us about her experience in flipping the classroom using one of our apps that's created by CEL. And so without further ado, let me just invite you to join me to welcome Joanna to come and take the stage to share with us her experience. Joanna, please.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking time to hear me share. I would consider this as a privilege. I want to thank particularly CEL, Ashley and the team for inviting me to this sharing. It has been a great learning journey for me as well, and I'm really looking forward to sharing my learning journey with you regarding what is meant by the flipped classroom. I learned this by default also as I work with the CEL team, and and as I pick up the concept of the flipped classroom, I find that it has applications within our module. Okay. So my sharing on flipping the classroom is in relation to our ES module. I'm from the ECSE AG, and we are conducting this core module on teaching and managing learners at the primary level. Okay, I'm one of the coordinators. My other coordinator is Miss Mercy Jesuvadia. She is overseas, so she sent her apologies for not being able here to share the experience with you as well. Okay, I move on. The outline for the sharing today, the concept of the flipped classroom, reasons and outcomes, and I want to share with you future potential for flipping within our module as well. Okay, it is important to start with the concept of the flipped classroom so that we establish common understanding of what is the flipped classroom. So as I go on sharing, okay, you will be having the right context and the right mindset as well. What is the flipped classroom? I think we are all very familiar with the traditional classroom. I do not want to make this like a formal lecture. So traditional classroom starts with in-class sessions. So that is focused on content delivery. Okay? And then this is followed by usually homework. Okay? And the homework is focused on the application. So this is the more traditional classroom, and we all know that there are merits and value in this traditional pedagogical approach as well. Now the flipped classroom start on the other side. So the content delivery now comes before the application and is usually conducted out of class. So the content delivery is given before the in-class session even started. Okay, and so as a result, when you go for your in-class session, there'll be more time to focus on application, of the concept. So this is the flipping of the classroom. I understand that the flipped classroom is gaining a lot of popularity right now in many other countries, especially in the West as well. Okay, both for the classroom outside there as well as for higher learning institutions such as ours. Right. So why flipped? Again, what I'm discussing here is in relation to our education study module. So why we flipped? Okay, the first reason is a time factor, and the second reason, also which I pick up by default and learn through it, is it can be a very useful pedagogical approach. Now, just to give you a little bit of background regarding the module here. Okay, this module is delivered to all the core cohorts. So we have the diploma batch, which is 2 AUs, which is 24 hours, the PGD batch, which is 24 hours as well, 2 AUs, and we have the bachelor cohort, which is 3 AUs, 36 hours. Okay, so for years, I've been coordinating this for about 3.5 years. For years, we have been trying to, squeeze a 36 hours module into a 24 hours module, or how we should expand the 24 hours to a 36 hours module. So, there is a lot of tossing to and fro to know how to balance this so that, all the cohorts, whether they are 24 hours or 36 hours, have the best of our module. So when this flipped classroom came in the picture, it is a lifesaver to a certain extent. Okay, later on I will show you how we can rearrange our content delivery in such a way that it fit all the 3 cohorts. Not only the 3 cohorts has different AUs, but in terms of the weeks, the duration is also different. So for the bachelor, we have 12 weeks. For the diploma, we have 8 weeks. And for the PGDE, we have only 6 weeks. Okay, so imagine how we have to kind of do that balancing act from 6 weeks all the way to 12 weeks. Okay, time factor. Now, in an effort to strengthen our module to reflect local conditions and practices, we have gone into the schools to gather the materials. You know, from our course feedback, our student teachers have been asking for more authentic local conditions. You know, they want to be seeing more of our local classroom practices within their classroom here. And so in response to this feedback, we have been able to go into schools to collect the materials. And for this, I really want to thank my colleague, Ms. Serena Kaur, who is able to tie us up with a former school, Greenwood Primary, and also introduce us to Da Chao Primary. So we have been going into these 2 schools, you know, to collect lots of materials. Okay, at this juncture, I want to thank the CL team, you know, for helping us to collect materials as well. So what happened is that we end up with a whole host of materials. Particularly for Greenwood, they were so enthusiastic. We asked for only 1 teachers focus group interview and 1 children focus group interview. In the end, I think we ended up with 4 to 5 children focus group interviews. We asked for 2 to 3 class sessions. I think in the end, I think we filmed about 4 class sessions altogether. So we really end up with a whole host of materials, and they are really, really excellent materials because they show, you know, action in the classroom. And also they showcases teacher voices and children voices. So very excellent materials. But for us to bring the materials into the classroom in terms of content delivery, that will be a problem. So only way to cover the content is to conduct it outside of the tutorial classes. To conduct it outside of tutorial classes, of course, you have your traditional way as well as a flipped classroom way. Okay, so this is an example of what CL has done for our AG, you know, how they convert all the videos and all our materials into this structure so that, you know, it is made available to the student teachers outside of the classroom. Okay, this is only very preliminary. We have not gotten all the materials ready. This is only 1 school. Okay, we are still waiting for the 2nd school to come back to us. So in the end, when we have all our materials, we easily will have about 6 classrooms, 2 teacher focus group interviews, 6 focus group interviews, and easily about 10 teachers' presentations. So there'll be lots of material, and you know, I want to thank CL in advance, okay, who will be helping us to put it together, you know, for our student teachers. Other than time factor, okay, time factor was the driver, okay, for us to flip the classroom. Okay, but as we flip the classroom, we realized that, well, it is actually a useful strategy, a useful pedagogic approach as well. We have used the materials in both ways. For AED 303, which is our bachelor batch, we use it in a traditional way. But for DED 106, okay, where we only have 24 hours, we decided to flip it. AED 303, we don't have problem. We deliver the content within the class, and then we follow up with all the materials that we have collected from school as, you know, an after-class application. So that is the traditional way. Okay, but for DED 106, we don't have that, you know, privilege to have 2 sessions, you know, just on this. So what we did was we delivered the material beforehand. Okay, they view the material before the class starts, and then during class starts, we focus on the application. Okay, so in other words, we flip it in the other way. So by flipping the classroom, okay, it has been useful in several ways. Now here I want to make, you know, the comment that the two pedagogy are not in contention with one another. I think both have their uses in their own ways. But here I'm going to talk to you, you know, why the flipped classroom can be useful. Okay, create a common space for reference. I think this is really, really great. Okay, when we talk about an example in a classroom, it's either my example or the student's example. Now, when we talk about an example in a classroom, okay, we are all focused on the same example. And so the engagement and the interaction becomes more meaningful. Okay, class more prepared and proactive in participating in the discussion. Because they have viewed the materials beforehand, they are able to have, be more engaging in the interactions because, they are not thinking and talking out of a vacuum now, okay? So as a result, you find that they are generally more proactive in the classroom. In fact, some of the conversations around some of the materials were really very challenging as well, because we all have a common reference point. Some will be saying that, this is not so useful. Some will say that it is more useful, and as a result, we're able to, discuss in greater depth. Okay, so they bring up more challenging issues, and in the end, it leads to a more in-depth discussion. So in other words, the flipped classroom gives you the classroom space to facilitate a more in-depth discussion. Because if you were to use the classroom session time just to deliver the content, and at the end, you only have that little bit of time to discuss, to facilitate the discussion, it is more rushed and less intense as a result. Okay, this one with more time, and because they are more prepared beforehand with some contents already, you find that it really facilitates the discussion further. Okay, any questions so far? Okay,
One question here.
Sure.
On the issue of saving time,
Right.
sort of either compressing course to 6 weeks or
Right.
expanding it to 8 or even 12 if necessary. Obviously, in flipping, some of the curriculum time is taken out of the face-to-face time. I know you don't have a lot of student-teacher feedback, but as a sort of gut feel, do you get the sense of any of them that they were feeling like, more stressed or had any negative impression of the fact that, I actually need to do something outside on my own time and then come to the classroom better prepared? Were there any sort of perceptions or feelings like that?
Of some kind of resentment because they have to do.
Yeah, were there any?
Okay, for DED 106, our diploma batch, actually I have pretty good feedback. They enjoy the sessions. I think a lot depends on the kind of content, that is that they are being asked to view before the session itself. Because our session was very interactive, there are a lot of videos as well as in other, more interactive materials. We even have questions for them to, to think deeper, and that's why the in-class session discussion was actually more in-depth. So they really found it very useful, and they didn't mind the extra, so-called the extra time put into it. Yes?
So how do you ensure that they will actually do their homework properly? Because obviously some, would always have the internet excuse of be able to do
Correct.
this one.
Yeah.
And if there were cases where there were people who came in unprepared, how did they survive the sessions?
So, okay, going back again, over here I have two main sessions, the math session and the PE sessions. So I actually use the jigsaw expert group. So they do have their so-called expert group. In other words, they are allocated, and then they have to come prepared to share with their so-called jigsaw group as well. So you may need to use other strategies to ensure that they come prepared as well.
So which means the group that is assigned to do the presentation be guaranteed of having gone through the materials.
Yeah. Yes, but we also advise them that even though they are not the expert of that particular, lesson, they are encouraged to view the other lesson as well. And I got feedback from my student teachers that, they also viewed the other lessons as well. Yeah. Yes?
But in that case, they will probably cover the material they are assigned better than the other.
Yes,
sessions, right?
yeah. So depending on how you use the flipped classroom, for our session, we do in this way so that we ensure that at least, all the students get to view the content, or at least part of it, before they come into the classroom. And they are fairly similar content because the questions are similar, just different classroom scenarios as well. Yes?
Just a technical question. So if you assign pre-work, do you still assign homework?
No, I don't assign homework because the flipped classroom concept is such that the application is supposed to be done in class so that the so-called teacher as a facilitator will be able to ensure that they are able to grasp the concept better. So for my module, no. Any other questions? Yes?
It's flipped, right?
Yes, the homework is flipped. Yeah, so they do it before. Whereas for the AED 303, which we should use it the traditional way, I think
Sorry,
yeah.
you still have an assignment, do you?
Not for this particular session. Not for this particular session.
For the course, do you have an assignment?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I'm not flipping the entire course. I'm flipping. Yes, you cannot flip the entire course. Yeah. Okay, but you can flip certain, lessons within your core module. Yeah. So you still will have your group assignment as well as individual assignment. Otherwise, our student teachers will really enjoy the flipped classroom. No assignment. Yeah. Later, I'll show you our coming January cohort, which one I am flipping and why I'm flipping it. Okay, so yeah, sharing on our January 2013 cohort, which is our PGDE cohort. This is really, really challenging because we only have 6 weeks. At the end of the 6 weeks, immediately after that, they go for their practicum already. So compared to AED 303, which is the bachelor cohort, which has 12 weeks, can you imagine it's like kind of like cutting the duration by half as well. In the January 2013 cohort, 2012 cohort, that means last year, this is how we use the 6 weeks, okay? Every week we have 2 sessions, each session 2 hours. So in other words, that will cover 6 times 4, 24 hours, so that will cover the 2 AUs. Okay, but the student find the student as well as the tutors, they find quite tiring to be, meeting the students twice a week, etc. So this time round, I'm very thankful to the concept of the flipped classroom. We have decided to go back to our 3 hours. We find the 3 hours really, really very useful. The 2 hours very rushed. Because the 3 hours, you can really facilitate more in-depth discussion. So we can go back to the 3 hours, and this is how we do it, right? So, so you can see there are only 6 weeks, but within the 6 weeks, we squeeze 8 sessions. How do we do it? Okay, within 2 weeks. So over here, week 3, session 3. Okay, this is our class sessions. Okay, week 3, session 4. Okay, we are flipping here, behavior management 1. So we give them the content before the class itself. Otherwise, we used to cover behavior management within the classroom. Okay, most of my tutors, complain in inverted comma is that, well, their mouth runs dry. Because there's really a lot of content to cover for behavior management, especially all the models. So this is actually a great how should I put it, topic to flip. Okay, so they cover the content outside of classroom before the class itself. Okay, this time round we will be giving them the materials to cover. Okay, but I was just talking with Henry, just the other day. Actually, we can flip it in several ways because we do cover the material within class in the bachelor cohort. Remember that one, we have the 36 hours. So I can actually get him to film one of our sessions for the AED 303. And then I can flip it here. In other words, they don't have to miss the session. The content can be delivered, okay, before class. And then during class, we can take a little bit of time, to facilitate the discussion. Okay, so this will be an area for future flipping. Right now, we are giving them the contents in terms of the materials. Okay, but CL can be prepared, for a request that will be put in by us, for filming one of our, in-class session where we conduct this as well. Okay, so week 4, week 5, okay. And then week 5, here we are flipping again, small group cooperative learning. So this is where we bring in all the materials from the 2 schools that we have gone to. You know, the one we talked about, you know, the 6 lessons, the, you know, the many focus groups interview as well as the CL presentation. So we present them with the materials, of course with the guiding questions and so on. And then we do the discussion within class. So here also we do the discussion within class. So, so this is how we're going to flip it. And because we are able to flip it this way, we don't need to go for our 6x4, you know, sessions. That means that we have done previously. We can still go for our 3 hours as well. Okay, but other than, you know, being useful in helping us to meet, you know, the 24 hours within 6 weeks, I believe, as you have seen, it is a very useful pedagogy as well. Okay, it really can facilitate more in-depth, you know, discussions. Okay, so I think that's all I have to share. Any other questions? Okay, if not, can I hand the time back to CL?
I just want to appreciate Joanna for sharing by giving her a small little token of appreciation. Joanna?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.